I'm Bill Kucha, artist in residence for Fields of Peace. And before we get into today's presentation, I just wanted to say a few things about my experience as being the audience for my painting. I'm not really big on having artists explain their work. I think it's more important for the viewer to have their own experience of it. Nevertheless, I'm going to give it a whirl. So I wanted to talk a little bit about this whole idea of making art and how important it was for me to get involved in this whole activism aspect of my life, which really hit home about 5 or 6 years ago when I started reading in depth what was taking place to our earth. And I was a mess and kind of hysterical and kind of screaming about things. And as time went on, I felt, well, no, this isn't really serving a purpose. You know, what can? So I formed a group, an activist group, an extension of 350, called it 350 Oregon Central Coast, and worked with folks. And then I got back into my art, because I set my art aside for a while when I was into the throes of being an activist. And I still consider myself an activist, but it's through my art and my talking and my music that I'm expressing it, and it feels more connected. And I want to encourage that for folks like yourselves to find, you know, what form of artistic expression serves you and helps. Because as they say, you know, art saves lives. It really has a healing aspect to it. So, it doesn't have to be something wonderful or great or earth-shaking. It's really for yourself and opening up that heart in you and, you know, making you more sensitive and kind to the world and participating in that way. It's a lot better than just sitting around complaining or worrying, you know, and listening to the news and, you know, replicating their horror stories in your mind. To be positive and put out a positive image is, I think, really essential now. Today, I want to pick up on the second part of our talk on the painting that you just saw, 600 years. And we're going to look at the first panel that's over here and talk a little bit about what's going on in it and a little bit of the process that... So we're starting at the sea, and we have the feet of Gaia anchored firmly in the bottom of the sea. And this is the ocean where Columbus, who actually came a couple hundred years before the Industrial Revolution, to the new land, so to speak, a new land for Western Europeans. And at that time, the sea was just full of abundant sea life and clean and pure, literally like in the North Banks or in places like up in the Columbia River. You could take baskets and just bring fish right out of the water. There's so much of it. But over time, due to the industrialization of agriculture and the development of more sophisticated processes of extraction, the fish population started to deplete. And I've written some statistics here that speak to that, and these were taken from NASA and a few other federal agencies that talk about resources. It says here, the oceans produce more than half of the world's oxygen. Production levels are dropping rapidly, up to 40% in some places. Coral is 400 million years old, and in just a few decades, humans are on course to wipe them out, which is a sad state of affairs. I also have this little piece of coral here, or the exoskeleton of coral, and it's kind of a talisman that represents what's taken place here. As I mentioned earlier, the horrible statistic of its near extinction. Over here in the waves, it's written that there's 3.5 trillion fish in the oceans. And at the current rates of destruction and overfishing, seafood will be pretty much gone by 2050, at least the stuff that we consume. More than half of all marine life has been lost since 1980, which is startling. So we've got Christopher Columbus's ship, the Pinta of Santa Maria, coming here, and I've got written on the mast, or on the sails of the boat, some things. I also have, as a pirate ship, I took some artistic licenses, and if you look carefully, you can see the face of Christ underneath, kind of a ghost ship. We come in the name of Christ, Jesus Christ, our King. We bring guns, disease, greed, pollution, injustice, and wanton murder. The Bible, ecocide, extinction. We take your land, your gods, your culture, and annihilate 130 million of you who have lived here for 25,000 years before us. And I have USA there. So he was really the precursor to what set up the grounds for what transpired in the New World, with bringing ideas of ownership, which were backed by force and laws that were really randomly made so they could steal and take what they wanted. And then there were these ideas of commodities. Everything became, a commodity. Everything had a price on it, could be bought and sold. And the ideas of extraction and exploitation, these were all foundations of capitalistic thinking. And they came to a world where the people that lived here had no ideas of ownership. They were here and they honored the land, they took care of it, they were stewards of the land, they lived with the land. So this was all new to them, and it didn't make sense. And ironically, those people were pretty much annihilated in the course of the first 100 years of the white invasion. Although there's tribes now coming back, and their thinking and their sensitivities are really, I think, what might help save our world and us, using more holistic and ecologically sound thinking. So the island, that they came to down there is seemingly tropical, beautiful thing, again, full of life and wonder and beauty. As we look at it more carefully, we see really what transpired over the time that they were there. So as we do move closer into the island, we find it really composed of the faces of all these little animals that have become extinct or endangered and are going to become extinct unless we change our ways and become more sensitive to the natural world. So they're listed here, and I printed the name of them. There's literally hundreds of animals weekly that go extinct on our Earth. That sounds incredible, but it's true, and our rate of extinction is 1,000 times higher than what it ordinarily would take place on Earth over the course of millions of years. We're at a high point now with this, so we're calling this the sixth extinction. Again, this painting is dedicated to the spirit of Gaia, that living, breathing consciousness called Earth, and that feminine spirit that I think is so important to bring back into our world. It's been 5,000 years that the Earth has really been dominated by this male energy, the Anthropocene era, and hopefully will engender something that's more loving, caring, and kind. Show what it means to be human and let kindness. All you women, come forward and be what you are. Embrace your mama, that glory, and say, yeah, our sweet Earth, and give birth to a new day, a new way.
teach us love, sweet, sweet love. Ooh, ooh. Here's to the good, glad, tired and know you're being, to the sisters and mothers and all that you bring, to the colors of your songs and all that belongs. Here's to you and thee. Women teach us love, sweet, sweet love. To the wives and the daughters and all that you do, to knowing what's right and doing what's true, to the able-bodied and disabled too, to the chefs and the servers and all who partake in the give and take. Here's to you and thee, you and thee. To those that give and never got, seems the whole world is asking you for a lot, for that soft spot between your heart and your belly that brings this birth love, royal jelly. How to stop hate and start the healing. Seem this whole human world has lost its feeling. Time to give and stop the double dealing and stealing. Women teach us love, sweet, sweet love. Here's to the good, glad, tired and all your beams, to lifting the light from the basement to the ceiling, to offering your men your truest song, to being where they say you just don't belong, to succeeding where they have failed, to open your heart and let love sail around and through all things, all living things. Let women come forward and be what you are. Embrace your mother, that glory. Say, our sweet earth, and give birth to a new day, a new way. Teach us love.
In painting this, I really thought about it for a long time. It kind of visited my dreams, not in this exact form, but the idea of it. And I use dreams to help me contemplate things and think about, you know, what I might paint. And for me, as these images unfold, I let them come without too much scrutiny. I just kind of rely on my intuition, and I do what Allen Ginsberg told his students, first word, best word kind of thing. So that's what I did here, and that's why I have such a potpourri of different things. Oh, here's my studio. I built this about 20 years ago for myself. It's kind of a glorious place to come and work in. It's about 32 feet by 18 feet and got lots of room to make big paintings or small paintings. There's one called Millennium. And it's also a place where I sprout my greens. I'm a pretty avid gardener. So here's my little babies. It'll be going in next month. And because it's watercolor, I sit, here's a painting I'm working on for my son. He built himself a new house up in the mountains and wanted a little representation of that. And then I have a few of the sculptures around. For about 10 years I got into sculpting, which was great. And I live here by the ocean. It's right down there. And my garden's below. I can see my whole garden from up here, which is really nice. And here's my little music studio. And I thought I might sing a song to you, for you now about the sea, seeing as that's where we started. Nice talking with you, and happy Earth Day. So it's the sea again, the beautiful sea. Just seems like yesterday I was walking in the sand, family in my hand, ankles tickled by the cold, the air so fresh and bold, everybody frolicking, having fun down by the sea. Now everybody's grown up, no time to play, out making money, no time to skate. So I'm alone with the sea, the time to spare, and things look different. There's a change in the air. There's a bloom out there, the sea's red, not blue, a gull dead by my shoe, like a lump of coal. Tired in our own feathers, nowhere to go. Skies seem emptier, flocks are gone, tide pulls too. Oh, mother, mother ocean, what have we done to you? It's time for a change. So I'm giving back to the sea, a little something the sea's given me, a tiny part of the great big star the ocean's given me. With our backs to the wind, we'll start to begin cleaning up and loving our wet friend, knowing what we know and where to go. We're heading out to sea. The sweat of our brow and the salt of the sea commingle together in a sweet harmony. So we're rowing out to sea, where the tides rise in our eyes, water in our heart with a brand new start, the rhythm that rocks us all. Here's to the mates who heed the call, and the sea with her gifts and breath for us all. Yeah, we're sailing till we realize a brand new world with our open eyes. So row mates with your soulmates, though we're singing the sea song all the long way home. I think it wise now to reference our true being in the beginning, the larger context of who we are, that being our universal connection. According to one of the most popular theories coming from contemporary Western science these days, our universe was born with a big bang, as it is so called, some 15 billion years ago. And don't ask me what slide rule they used to come up with that number. Anyhow, the sound of the Big Bang can still be detected in the far reaches of the cosmos as background noise using radio telescopy. Though I haven't heard it myself, I like to know it's there. As a matter of fact, you and I, were there too, along with the potential for every living and non-living thing. Our humanity, like Humpty Dumpty, has sat on the wall of Western civilization for some 5,000 years. Now, we have fallen off that wall and are breaking apart. By every metric in all realms of our society, be it social, economic, or environmental. And all the king's men and all the king's horses can't put poor Humpty Dumpty together again. What are we going to do today as we stand at the crossroads of life and death in this time of climate change? Perhaps just we ordinarily do at any intersection. Stop, look, and listen. Stop momentarily from our habitual lifestyle filled with distractions and wake from the trance of Western civilization in these modern times. Then, look at the beautiful natural world surrounding and providing for us. And finally, listen to what your heart says. One small act of kindness will lead to another, and another until you find yourself directed by your love. Not your fear, not hate, not greed, but love. You know, after 5,000 years of this male-dominated Anthropocene age of war and destruction, let's permit female energy to come forward and teach us love, creativity, caring, respect. This painting is dedicated to that spirit, found in the embodiment of love. Call it Earth, call it Gaia, call it you, call it me. What do you say? Let's do it.